Okay, good evening. Welcome to the August 5th, 2025 Committee of the Whole meeting of the Exeter Township School Board. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Fike, can you take roll call, please?
Jason Mill.
Here.
Julia Schaefer.
Here.
Deborah Bloom.
Here.
Dr. Andrea Battler.
Present.
John Fiddler.
Here.
Dr. Ann Herring. Timothy Morgan. Travis Odom. Allison Wilson.
Here.
6 present, 3 absent.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Fike. In addition to the 6 board members in attendance this evening, we were also joined at the board table by our solicitor, Sharon Montaigne, and members of the school district administration, including Dr. Christy Haller, superintendent, Mrs. Dawn Harris, assistant superintendent, Dr. Josh Hoyt, director of teaching and learning, Mrs. Diane Skornovaki, director of human resources, and Mr. Brian Fike, who serves as our business administrator and board secretary. Just a note, we will be doing things a little differently tonight with our special voting meeting. So we are going to have our COW meeting, as I mentioned prior. We are going to have that now, and then immediately following the COW meeting, we'll have our special voting meeting. Okay, moving on. Meeting minutes are attached. Does anyone have any changes or discussion they would like to make regarding meeting minutes for the July 15, 2025 board voting meeting? All right, hearing none, we will not be amending tonight's agenda. And we do not have anyone signed up for public comment for agenda items unless someone would like to come up and speak. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and move on to committees then with Mrs. Wilson for education.
Okay, there's a few things on the COW that will then move to the special voting tonight. The first thing is a list of staff conferences. Questions? Okay, and then there are field trips that are just being reported within the 60-mile radius, and then field trips that we will be approving that are beyond the 60-mile radius for our music student, 8th grade music students and senior high music students. We will be approving the student handbooks tonight for the senior high school, the junior high school, Rifton, and K through 4, as well as the athletic handbook that are attached. Any questions? Yes.
On the handbooks, I didn't look at every word, but I did notice in the high school handbook, I didn't see my 2 favorite words, artificial intelligence. Is there a reason why there's no guidance in the handbook so that the students know what they're supposed to be doing?
So for us, we look at that from the academic dishonesty component, as well as just we use for teaching tools within the classroom and apps. And on our docket this year, we are going to be looking at some more professional development for our teachers. But okay. In terms of that, we view the things with AI from the negative lens that if they use it for cheating and such, it's as if they were cheating off a partner or something like that, not necessarily right. AI specific.
But do we look at it, I mean, AI has a lot of positives too.
No, I'm saying on the other side too, that a lot of our teachers embrace it. One of the things that you're going to see tonight for an application that we have a cost savings with, our new one is called DIFIT, which is something that uses AI to be able to find leveled resources for kids. So a number of our teachers are using it almost on a daily basis. Okay. And it's about teaching the concept of AI right. from the positive lens. So
and I noticed since there was nothing in the handbook, I went back to the policy that we approved. Happy anniversary, everyone, because we approved it a year ago this month. And I noticed that the teachers were to be signed up for professional development. Have they, in fact, had that?
So that's what we did. One of our, Dan Wilczek was a part of the IU consortium for AI, and we brought back and we did some department-specific trainings with respect to AI. And this year we're working with a gentleman from PSBA who was a speaker on AI that's going to come in and do a workshop for our teachers for grades 7 to 12.
Okay, and it also says that the students they won't get professional development, but the students will be trained on how to use AI. Have they in fact had that training?
So it's not necessarily quote unquote formal training. It's about the teachers that go in and provide guidance and talk to them about the positives and the negatives of AI, specific to using it as a resource, not as something to do your assignment for. Right. So depending, because many of them are content specific, the teachers embrace it as the lens that it's a great curricular tool and instructional tool to have within the classroom.
And the students have already had that in the previous year?
Yes.
Okay. That's all I had. Thank you.
Okay. The next thing on the agenda is we will be approving an MOU with the Reading Hospital as part of the internship program, and that is something that we have done the past few years. In addition, we will be approving the purchase of DFIT, as Dr. Hoyt just mentioned. This is supporting instructional differentiation and literacy development, and it's replacing another software that we use, Newsela, so that the cost is less than it was for Newsela. In addition, we also have an agreement with Ole Valley School District for tuition for a student to be in their agricultural program.
I have a question about that.
Sure.
I'm assuming that we're paying this because we don't have a program in agricultural development?
That is correct.
And how many of these have we had? Say, I've been on the board 5 years. I don't remember seeing this before, but have we done this before?
We have done this previously. I'd have to look back at the date, but this is the first time since I've had to bring this to the board, and I've been here almost 3 years. But this was done a couple times previously, looking back on, because I pulled the language from previous board action items on it.
Got it. Thank you.
Forgive me, quick
Yep, go.
question. Is this just like one class? Or what exactly?
It's a full day program. Ole has a full day agricultural program where the content, all their content, academic content, is presented through this specific program. It's like the equivalent of almost having like a full day BCTC like program that they run
Understood.
there for agricultural.
Gotcha. Thank you.
The next thing on the agenda is an agreement between Avinia Healthcare and Exeter Township School District to provide healthcare services to the students on behalf of the school. Is this just if they don't have their own insurance? Just if they don't
Nope,
have?
it's not about insurance at all. This
Okay,
is
so-
we do this annually. This is the agency that we use for substitute nurses.
Okay,
It's Aviana.
substitute nurses, there you go. All right, and then the Cottage 7 agreement, it's recommended that the Board of School Directors approves a tuition agreement between Cottage 7 and the Exeter Township School District for special education services for one student at the cost of $240 per day for a total of $43,200. And then it is recommended that the Board of School Directors approves the agreement between First Children and Exeter Township School District to provide services as detailed in the attached schedule. Any questions?
Again, just a note, this is an annual renewal, just like the next one, which is GHR for contracted agency services that we need, like substitute paraprofessionals, BCBAs, RBTs, et cetera.
Okay, so as Mrs. Harris just stated, then the next item is also an agreement between GHR Education and Exeter Township School District to provide the healthcare services. And that is everything on the Education Committee report. Any questions? All right, moving on.
Thank
We'll
you.
vote on all of that tonight.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Wilson. We're going to go to Finance and Audit Committee, and I believe Mrs. Bloom, you're taking that?
I am. First up is a solar farm presentation.
It's really going to be a discussion. I think I've attached the cash flow analysis. What I did is use the worst-case scenario. Since I worked on this, I've gotten a letter from PA Gov, the Department of Environmental Protection. They're actually looking at giving us zero interest loan on it and the option of not paying and start paying on it until the project is up and running. So I'm trying to get definitive answer on that. But in the meantime, I ran the cash flow projection on worst case scenario. If we had a 4% interest rate and if we had to start paying on it immediately. But even with that, the project would pay for itself in 7 years. If we don't have to even start paying on it until after it's done, it would pay itself in 6 years. And if we get zero interest rate, it's like a little bit over 5 years it would pay for itself. We talked before, and there was questions last meeting about the big beautiful bill and the tax implications. The incentives from the federal government expire in 2027, but to get those incentives, you must start the project by July 4th of 2026. The state incentives expire, or I should say the utility incentives expire at the end of 26. My recommendation is we start in June. We have 32-week lead time on the switchgear, which we could actually start in June and finish by the end of June. I recommend we move forward with the contract with solicitor review because things could change with the next budget cycle. Right now, we're in a sweet spot to be able to get this project done with little or no cost to taxpayers, plus the savings are over $10 million in 30 years.
Mr. Fike, just kind of going back to the one statement you made you said with solicitor review, are you suggesting that we vote on this pending solicitor review?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the next one.
Okay.
Because Sharon hasn't gotten a chance to look at the contract and get her wording in. And I normally don't do that until I have board approval for her to do that, because that's an expense. And I know she's reviewed the Solar for School grant program, so we got to make sure that the wording covers the all U.S. made. In this project, there's a federal procurement source we use called Omnia Contracting, which they've bid out all U.S. materials. So it's we priced this whole thing based off the Omnia contract. Okay. Sharon, did you want to add something?
No, I mean, yeah, I need to review it, but I think the board can, if they choose to, can vote on it. It'll be tweaking some of the contractual language, so,
Would we then vote again
No.
after you've changed it?
no.
Wouldn't it be better then to vote after you've reviewed it?
Typically, that would be the case. However, this is a sort of a timing issue. It's not prohibited, so you can choose to wait, or you can vote on it and the final version of it, after I've played with it and worked with the train company, you'll have that final document.
Yeah, I'd be more comfortable voting on it after you've reviewed it, because we don't know what you're going to, if you're going to
gonna do
move
to
a
it.
comma and replace it with a semicolon, that's one thing, but if you're
Right.
going to change the language of the contract, I wouldn't be comfortable doing that.
The changes that I would be making are not going to be substantive to the technical work. I work on things like the liability language and timelines and things like that. I think Mr. Fike was saying we need to get this contract nailed down. Not we, you guys need to get this contract nailed down because the ordering process is so delayed. And so if we wait a few weeks, you're going to be a few weeks behind.
I mean, we could wait a few weeks. My biggest concern is I'd like to have the whole thing done by June 30th, because even though they've already set the sunset provisions in this year's budget, things could change in next year's budget. They can't go back and retroactively set them.
Yeah,
They've already set the IRS rules for this coming year.
Yeah, in order to get the ITC funds, from my understanding with the big beautiful bill that passed, is that the construction must begin either before
July 4th.
July
of
4th of 2026, or be placed in service on or before December 31st, 2027. And I would definitely think the better one would be getting the construction started before.
Right. Well, the other thing is the local incentives from the utility companies, they only go to December 31st of 2026. That's another couple $100,000 I'd like to have in this cash flow.
Yeah.
Um,
So,
170,000.
so
That's minimum. I think there's going to be more like 250,000.
Mrs. Montaigne, if the board would approve the contract pending your review, if there is anything in the contract that you would consider not
Material.
not good for the school district, I guess, in the simplest terms, is that something that you would come back and then we would say, or you would say that we're not moving forward with the contract, it's not approved?
Correct. If I couldn't negotiate the terms that are in the district's interest, I found something
Okay.
that was not in the district interest and the company wasn't willing to
Yeah.
change it, certainly you can cancel anything this quickly, and you have another board meeting in a couple of weeks, voting
Right.
meeting. So it
Yeah.
could be,
Yeah. So if we're essentially giving it the approval, saying it's good with us as long as it's good with the solicitor. And if the
Correct.
solicitor comes back and says, you know what, we got problems here, then we can, retract it or whatever we need to do there.
yeah.
So Brian, what would waiting 2 weeks do to the schedule? Besides push it back 2 weeks?
I just know right now what the lead times are. They could change less or longer. 2 months ago, we didn't ever thought they'd get rid of the federal incentives, right?
Speaking of which, there was a story that the New York Times ran. Hold on. Here we go. Crossed at 3:44 p.m. today. The Trump administration is preparing to terminate $7 billion in federal grants intended to help low and moderate income families install solar panels on their homes, according to two people briefed on the matter. Does that have any bearing on this project?
No, this is actual tax credit that we get.
Okay.
And what's interesting is years before, they've always had tax credits to homeowners, but it's against your taxes. School districts do not pay taxes. The law that they're sunsetting is that they actually pay us cash instead of having to credit against taxes for municipalities and nonprofits,
Okay.
right?
You also said that this, I think you used the phrase, this will pay for itself in 7 years.
Right. You can actually use the utility savings to pay the loan. And if we use the utility savings to pay a loan, right now, if there was interest, it'd be 7 years. If there's no interest, it'd be a little bit over 5 years, between 5 and 6 years. So close to $300,000 a year you're saving in electric costs, you'd use that to pay the loan down, and there would be no loan payment at the end of that term.
So the $4 million, basically, I mean, I learned long ago, we all did, there is no free lunch.
Right, it's a $4 million, over half that's by grants and incentives, and the other half is using the utility. But then we also, in this scenario, we own the $2,100 or 2,136 panels. That's our, solar farm.
Okay.
We talked before about maintenance. We have yet to go on the roof to maintain any of the panels that have been on the Watton since 2012.
And are they the same panels, same kind?
Same kind, but these are 580 watt panels compared to 170 watt panels we had on the roof there.
Okay.
These will be at a 30-degree tilt, which basically everything washes away anyway. Every time it rains, your dust and stuff will wash off. And when they're up, they actually produce a little heat that they, I don't want to call it defrost themselves, but it just melts the snow and ice off them in the winter.
So can
We'll
we
still
say,
have to mow the lawn around it, at least once or twice a year.
can we say then to our friends and neighbors who are funding this operation that it's not going to cost them anything?
Correct. In the long run, it will actually save the district.
Okay.
It's what they put on the roof of a Watton was that almost 15 years ago, technology. But during the day, we power the whole building, lights. It puts out 40 kW on 3 different legs. And during the summer, we're actually putting out more, but we never connected to the grid, so we can't sell it back anywhere. It's just wasted. Where this will be connected to the grid, we're producing more than that building use and more than most of our schools will use. But at night, they still have power, so it's used towards the other buildings' electric, but it's not enough to cover all their electric for 24 hours a day.
And are we going to be in a position to sell electricity back to the grid? Is it going to make that much?
Oh, yeah. Well, what you do is sell back to the grid and then get credits against your other schools. You're only allowed to produce 110% more than you use. So
Within a certain mile radius too,
right, within
right?
a 2-mile radius.
Yeah.
So we use more than what this can produce for all of our buildings that are within the 2-mile radius.
Right.
So it's close to $300,000 a year in electric costs based on today's rates.
Right.
Right.
And we've taken into account the fact that rates aren't going to stay the same.
No. I wish they would go down, but they have not.
Right, but I mean, we've taken into account
Correct.
that they
And
will most likely
the reason I
go
say
up.
today's rate, because I know MedEd has another increase coming shortly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say with the expansion of John's two favorite words, as he said, artificial intelligence, there's these AI data centers that the state seems to be welcoming in different areas of the Commonwealth, and that is only going to continue to drain electricity resources. So I really don't see electricity prices going down anytime soon.
All right.
Okay, thanks.
Brian, can you expand a little bit more on the loan that you're showing here in the cash flow, the 2.24 million?
Right. What I did was basically use a worst case scenario from what the Energy Department is offering. Right now, their highest loan rate is 4%, so I use the worst case. But they basically said we can do terms up to 15 years. We can reduce administrative burden for school. We can, that's the option for no payments or interest-only payments until the solar energy project is installed and operational. Option include maintenance and service agreement costs and the financing package. You can reduce cash flow such as the monthly energy cost savings of the solar project exceeds the loan payment. So they'll actually schedule the loan payment to what your energy cost savings would be, and that's what I used here. I'm thinking from talking to them, starting talking to them, no interest until we start the project or it's completed. So that would knock about a year off the savings, a little bit more than a year off the savings. It's by the Pennsylvania government doing this or the Department of Energy, they're guaranteed payment because if we default, then they would just take it out of our unit pay or the state's pay.
They know where our money is.
Yeah. So. There's no prepayment penalties. Most bank loans and stuff have some type of penalty. That's important because when we get the grant money in and we get the rebates from the electric companies and also the IRS check back, that goes immediately to prepay the loan. So, did I answer what you're asking?
I think, yeah. I'm sorry, you're looking at me. Yeah.
I'm sorry, did you ask
Sorry,
about the
I thought you were
loan?
looking at Sharon. Yeah, I just wanted to get a general idea of
All right.
how we're doing that.
So right now, like I'm saying, if we use the worst case scenario on rates and things, we're looking at 7 years to we actually see a reduction in our electric costs. Best case scenario is a little bit over 5 years, but we're looking at, these panels go at least 30 plus years, and it could be even longer. So if we just go out 30 years, we're looking over $10 million savings in electric costs. And like I said, the ones we have on Awatt have been there since 2012. I think the only maintenance we had to do was a switch that was faulty that actually shut it off at night because we're not connected to the grid, and that was a $500 bill. That was it. and we have yet to go up and clean them off, clean the panels off the roof, and they're still producing the same 40 kW per leg on 3 different legs. And they're actually on the wrong side of the building compared to where these will go for optimal sun. No.
So, and I think we encountered this when we looked at the other solar provider. There's a couple mentions in the contract that that essentially say could change the cost on us. Non-qualifying materials and substitutions, meaning if they can't get the panels that qualify under the ITC credit, that they can substitute for panels that maybe qualify for partial credit or something like that. But it sounded like it was under the direction of the school district. So
I would have the solicitor change that wording. That's one of the things, because she needs to make sure our grant says it has to be qualifying panels, which is US made.
okay, so that's definitely one area.
Correct.
The other one, it talks about the district being essentially having to push out any additional money if we're in need of utility upgrades. I don't know what kind of utility or examples. There was no examples of what utility upgrades would need to be, but that's another one that was in the contract.
Yeah, we can work on that. One of the reasons we put this at this size instead of going for the size that we were looking at before that can cover the whole district is we know that if it goes over this, they would have to have utility upgrades. This, we know right now the existing infrastructure they have will handle it.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, that's, and for the solicitor's record, that's in Exhibit B, Scope of Services, and it states in the last bullet, any required utility upgrades determined during the interconnection application process are not included.
right, when we talked to them, they basically told us if it was over this amount, it'd probably be looking at an interconnection fee of $400,000 to $500,000 instead of $30,000.
Okay. And there's, I believe in the contract we did with the other company, that was capped for us at a smaller rate. I thought they said like we'd only have to front 150K of that if they encounter
that.
that.
Was also a power purchase agreement. They owned and
yeah.
operated the farm, even though it was on our property.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't, I mean, is that I guess my question is that a concern if we find out the utility upgrade needed goes from 30 to 500,000? I mean, is that, in the long run, we're still making
Right.
money. I mean, we're not losing money in the long run in that 30-year chart or cash flow that you're talking about. We're just,
I'd be
gonna
very
cost us more.
upset if there was, because we basically sized it to what they told us
okay,
their system can handle in that area.
okay. Well, maybe that's something the solicitor could look at to maybe put some additional language
Because
in
it
there
was
to give us
less,
an
I
out.
would have looked
Yeah.
at a larger farm to try to
Yeah.
cover more savings for the district.
Yeah, I would definitely be in favor of having a clause there where we could exit the agreement if, for whatever reason, those costs are significant enough. And if they'd be obviously willing to do that.
I would think that you would know well in advance if there's going to be a huge.
We've already put the interconnection agreement in, or the application. So.
Right, so you'll know well in advance before you start doing any other work
Correct.
if it's going to be huge.
Yeah.
Okay.
And being extremely eagle-eyed here while looking at the agreement, Exhibit B, under energy production, number 1, there's a misspelling of Exeter. It says EXTER for Exeter Township Junior High School. That needs to be fixed. I think that's everything I had.
Just to clarify, how much of the district is this going to power?
Right now, we're about 700,000 in electric bill. Once this is on, or if today's rate would be about 400,000.
But I mean, physically, which buildings, is everything covered, or?
No, we can't do 100% because I didn't go for 100% because it probably wouldn't be able to get the electric company to change their infrastructure in time for this. It's probably going to take close to 50%. It'll take 100% during the day, but the sun's not out at night, so you're basically pulling off the grid at night and putting it back on the grid into the day.
Okay. And you were saying that the savings we'll use to pay the loan,
Correct.
but that won't start until the project is done.
Correct.
What's the span of the project? It'll start when and end when?
Well, if we start today, we'd actually have it done by June 30th.
Okay.
Of 2026, and that's really my goal, even though the utility rebates are good to the end of the year, and the federal tax credit or reimbursement is good to 2027. There's another budget next year that could change things that I'd rather have it in place and filed before that even happens. Because right now the bill says you must start by July 4th of 2026.
Right, okay.
And if we finish today, I can be putting in for the reimbursement to the IRS right now.
Right. So the savings won't start till after the project is done. What are we going to use to pay train between now and the end of the project?
The PA Department of Energy, I think I sent you the email, their loan program.
Probably, but I don't
It's an attachment.
It's an attachment.
It's an attachment on the presentation. It's the funding opportunity.
Right, Department of Energy Protection Energy Programs Office, they'd finance the solar project, and they have a bunch of different highlights of what they can do for us.
Okay, so again, we're not paying anything.
Won't be out of our pocket. Well,
It's going to be
there'll
be a
be
temporary
responsible
loan.
for it, but the cash will be coming from a loan from
Yeah,
the state.
it will be a temporary loan, but if you look at the cash flow, once we hit year, I think 8, that's when we're in the positive.
Yep.
And temporary loan at what % interest?
Well, right now, their highest percentage is 4%, which I used.
Okay.
It's possible, they're saying it's possible for 0%. I gave you a worst case scenario,
Right, sure.
right?
Okay, good, thank you.
And I have a feeling it probably will be close to that because a lot of people that applied for the grants of the state don't have the time to get them done because they aren't as far as we've been working on the solar project for 3 years now? Yeah. Yep.
Thanks, Brian.
Okay.
So, and Mrs. Bloom, I would think we don't need to discuss item B since we kind of covered, unless anyone else has anything to cover for that, but we will be moving item B to the special voting meeting.
Okay.
And then it's Facilities and Transportation Committee, Dr. Badler.
Thank you, Mr. Mel. It's recommended that the Board of School Directors approve the transportation agreement between Cottage 7 Academy and Exeter Township School District for transportation for 2 students from Cottage 7 Academy to their residence during the 2025-26 school year at a per diem rate of $180 per day for a total of $32,400. That's for a 180 days. If ESY eligible, $36,000 for transportation monthly payments based on eligible school days. And I just have a quick question about that. I know this is probably like the same thing as we did last year or something, I'm assuming. Okay, so forgive me, but for right now, ESY is like just lost in my brain. What does that stand for again?
ESY stands for Extended School Year. It is a program that certain students with disabilities are eligible for based on certain criteria.
Okay.
And it's for the purpose of maintaining skills over the summer so that they don't suffer from a lot of regression.
Understood. Thank you. And does this go along with, I was wondering, is this included in the Cottage 7 agreement up under
No, it's separate. That's why they're two separate agenda items.
Okay, so in reality, the one that we're going to be voting on for the student that's going to Cottage 7, it's really, the cost is $75,600, correct?
Yeah, if you add
Okay.
tuition and transportation
Yeah.
together.
Okay.
That's a very typical cost.
Just wanted to make sure that that's how I understood it. Thank
You
you.
got it.
Okay, any other discussion? All right, Personnel Committee, I believe, Mr. Fiddler, you're taking that?
Yes, I am.
right,
Thank
thank
you. We have a whole slew of categories of employees. We have resignations, retirements, appointments, transfers, change of status, and leaves of absence. That's the first group. Then we have three separate related and agreements, the Act 93 agreement to approve, or to vote on, rather, the confidential secretaries agreement, and the food services agreement. Questions? That does it for the Personnel Committee.
Thank you, sir. And back to you, Mrs. Bloom, with Policy Committee.
Policy number 222, tobacco and vaping products. Policy number 236.1, threat assessment. And policy number 824, maintaining professional adult-student boundaries.
Just routine updates for these policies. If you recall, we've been updating policies to more accurately reflect the school safety language from Office of Safe Schools to the real reporting agency, which is PDE. So that is one of the changes for 236.1. For 824, if you recall, we've also been updating policies to more accurately reflect collaboration with the Title IX coordinator in our district. That's the update for 824. And 222 is removal of that language around a specific vaping tobacco product called Juul. If you remember, that was very popular quite a few years ago. You did update the policy for employees. Now you're just updating the policy for students to remove that language as well, so that it's more general and reflects all tobacco and vaping products.
I do have a question. When I was here a million years ago, one of the problems was people smoking in the lavatories. Is that still a problem? And see heads nodding around the table. And how big a problem is it?
Smoking? No. Because students aren't smoking cigarettes anymore. Vapes have.
It's all vapes.
Yeah, they've pretty much replaced the traditional cigarette for most of our students. I'm sure we have some traditional throwbacks, but not that many. So yes, students, like high school students, when you were in school and when I was in school, do take advantage of being able to go to the bathroom to do that. We do have countywide discussions about vaping. There have been countywide discussions that have involved the DA's office around vaping. There have been countywide law enforcement discussions around vaping because most local law enforcement agencies in the county are the ones that respond and deal with those kinds of things when referrals are made from school districts. So it is a countywide problem, it's a statewide problem, it's a national problem. We do a lot of things here that are preventive in nature and then also reactive in nature in terms of having a fairly robust vaping cessation program. If you remember, Mrs. Leonard negotiates a lot of those contracts where we have people coming in to help with behavioral health. That's considered behavioral health. So they run some vaping cessation groups for us, do vaping education. When the Council on Chemical Abuse comes in to do all of their programming, K through 12, there's components of that K through 12 for all of our students. So we try to approach it from both an education approach, but then when we recognize that a particular individual student has a problem, we also then address it that way through individual counseling and group counseling.
Do we, I mean, are teachers forced to do monitoring and?
I don't think our teachers at the high school currently monitor bathrooms, correct, Mr. Campbell?
Not directly, but we do have teachers who are in bathrooms periodically, and they are
Okay,
responsive to what they see in there.
yeah, good. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the question.
Okay, any other discussion on policy? All right, thank you, Mrs. Bloom. Next, we are going to move to public comments on non-agenda items. No one has signed up unless someone would like to come up and speak. All right, moving on. We are going to be moving the following items to our special voting meeting agenda. So that is going to be 4A, and then 4C through 4K, 5B, 6A, and 7A through 7I. And we're going to be moving the following items to our August voting agenda, meeting minutes and item 8A. Okay. Before we adjourn, I did have one question. I was wondering, Mr. Fike, would you be able to tell us what effect, if any, we are having with the delayed state budget?
We are somewhat good compared to other schools because most of our budget is financed by our taxpayers, not by the state government.
Okay.
If they go into January, we're going to be hurting for cash. But right now, it's pretty much our taxpayers pay everything on the discount period, and
Okay.
we're good for a couple months.
Okay.
But I do feel sorry for the schools that are high percentage state funded, because they're probably going to have to go borrow.
So
to
if
meet their
it's
bills.
December and there's no budget passed, we should start sweating. That's what you're telling me?
January.
Okay, all right, January. All right.
I'd be worried in February, but January.
Okay, all right. Good to know. Hopefully they get that finished up before.
Maybe they can get it done by June 80th.
Yeah, June 80th.
From what I'm hearing, we're probably looking at September. But,
All right, thank you, sir.
okay.
Just curious. Any other discussion by the board before we adjourn the committee of the whole meeting? Okay. If there are no objections, we'll adjourn this meeting and move to our special voting meeting. Hearing none, meeting is adjourned. Almost hit the gavel because I'm just so used to doing that. All right, welcome to the August 5th, 2025 special voting meeting of the Exeter Township School Board. Mr. Fike, could you take roll call again, please?
Jason Mell,
Here.
Julia Schaefer. Here. Deborah Bloom,
Here.
Dr. Andrew Battler,
Here.
John Fiddler,
Here.
Dr. Ann Herring, Timothy Morgan, Travis Oden, Allison Wilson,
Here.
6 present, 3 absent.
Okay, still 6 present. Moving on, there are no amendments to tonight's agenda, and we're going to jump right again into committees, starting with education with Mrs. Wilson.
It is recommended that the Board of School Directors approve the following education committee items 1 through 10.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Okay, so that's everything for education, I believe, right, Mrs. Wilson? So we're good there. Personnel Committee with Mr. Fiddler.
Thank you, Mr. Mell. It is recommended that the Board of School Directors approve or ratify the following personnel items. I would like to include all of the items 1 through, 9. Items 1 through 9.
Did you,
I think it's only 6.
no, the 7, 8, 9 are the agreements?
All right, 7, 8, 9 agreements. We need separate votes on them, Mr. Chairman.
Or can they be in the consent agenda?
They can be in the consent agenda if there's going to be any concern about the outcome in terms of breaking down the votes, then the three should be done separately.
Yeah, I guess I should. Does anyone want to pull 7, 8, 9 out of the consent agenda? Okay,
You need a second.
okay. So it's going to be 1 through 9, and we need a second.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries.
And that's all for personnel.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Fiddler. Finance and Audit Committee, who was taking, that was Mrs. Bloom, sorry, I'm starting to lose track of who's taking what.
It is recommended that the Board of School Directors approve the agreement with Train, subject to solicitor review. Due to the sunsetting of the federal tax credits and local energy incentives, we need to complete this project next summer, 2026. To do this, the order of the switch gear is needed immediately, which has the longest lead time of 32 weeks. All contractors and material suppliers already have bid under the federal procurement Omnia contract, which Exeter Township School District is a part of. Train will act as the construction manager and be responsible for deliveries, specifications, and contractors, etc.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Okay, I believe that is it for the voting items that we had there. Oh, I'm sorry, Nate, there's one more. Sorry about that, Dr. Battler. Facilities and Transportation Committee with Dr. Battler.
No worries. It is recommended that the Board of School Directors approves the transportation agreement between Cottage 7 Academy and Exeter Township School District for the transportation for 2 students from Cottage 7 Academy to the residents during the 2025-2026 school year at the agreed rates.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. All right. Next, looking at public comments for non-agenda items. We have no one signed up, unless someone would like to come up and speak. And crickets. Are there any board members that would like to be heard at this time? All right. If nothing else, our next meeting will be our voting meeting on Tuesday, August 19th at 7 p.m. There will be an executive session immediately following the adjournment of this meeting to discuss pending litigation involving a student and to review the safety and security of students. If there are no objections, we'll adjourn this special voting meeting. Hearing none, special voting meeting